Today I want to talk a little bit about how to get into UMiami / how to get into a nursing program if you have a low GPA. More specifically, how to get into a nursing program. So a little bit of backstory before I hop into it. I did not take the traditional route. I already finished my bachelor's degree. I did 4 years at University of Albany, and I got my bachelor's in public health and a minor in psychology and biology. I'm gonna insert a picture somewhere. It still has watermarks on it. I'm gonna buy the pictures. I'm gonna buy those pictures. I'm gonna buy those pictures. But I just knew that public health wasn't really for me. I also thought about becoming a PA, but then I thought this is too competitive, or this is gonna be it's just so difficult to get into, which is so bad to think. Looking back on it now, I wish I went back and I would have applied anyway, because why not? Why not apply? But now tips. My first tip or thing that I would say to do would be to make an entire list of your schools that you want to apply to and those schools' requirements, because all schools require a whole lot of different things. A lot of schools require the 3.0 GPA. Speaking of the 3.0 GPA, we'll get into it. If you do not have a 3.0 GPA right now, also with the list, that just helps you stay organized. But for the 3.0 GPA, if you don't have that right now, please do not worry. It's so easy to get worried. I remember I was freaking out back then. I had a 2.7, and I was like, where am I gonna go to school? What am I gonna do? It makes you stress out. It'll be okay. It will be okay. But what I was gonna say is, I would say to retake those core science courses, retake all of those, and try to get at least an A or a B, because that's what they're really looking at, and that's what's gonna help your GPA, especially those 4 credit courses. But that's for if you're going in to accelerated more so. If you're in high school right now and you have a low GPA or a low, your grades aren't at what you think they would, don't meet the requirement level, I would say to go apply to community colleges around you, which is cheaper, it's closer, and apply to those schools, and then take those classes there, and it will help beef up your GPA. It'll help, improve it, so that when you do start applying to the schools that you do want to go to, then, it helps. It helps a lot. Also, colleges love to see that upward trend. So if you were getting all C's and D's and you weren't doing that well, and then senior year you just do better, junior, senior year you just do a lot better, people like to see improvement. You hear that all the time. Also, everybody loves the underdog, so people like to see that person who they started off not doing so good, and then they ended up doing so good. And then next I want to talk about experience. This is so good. If you're in school right now and you're in college and you're thinking about applying to an accelerated nursing program, even if it's PA school or any of that kind, anything in the healthcare field that you're thinking of doing after, experience, it works it's so good. I'm trying to say something that's better than that. Experience is what people who are looking at your application are looking for. If you were a CNA, or you were an EMT, you worked in EMS, or if you were a PCT, which doesn't require for you to be certified or licensed if you want to be a PCT or a PCA, some people call it, or a UAP. Also, the only issue with this is if you are in high school and you can't really be a CNA right now, because in order to become a CNA, I know that you have to be at least 18 years and older, so at high school that kind of just rules that out. But one thing you can do if you're in high school is you can volunteer. I worked for 3 years as a volunteer at a nursing home. So you can volunteer, do shadowing, anything that can, help your resume. Oh, and then we'll talk about your college essay. For your college essay, make yourself stand out. We all know you want to help people, that's what everyone says. Why do you want to be a nurse? I want to help people, we know. But what traumatic or life-changing situation were you in, or do you have a family member that's in this field that would make you want to go into nursing, or is there something, what makes you so passionate about it that makes you want to do it? You specifically. So that I would say to think about. Oh, I feel I can't tell if I'm too close to the camera or not. All right, now going into UMiami. As I said, I'm not the traditional UMiami student. I'm in the accelerated nursing program. But I talked to a lot of the traditional nursing students, and I talked to a couple of people, and I've watched a lot of videos, Googled a lot of things, so I think I'm qualified to help you with this information. To get into UMiami, I Googled it. Their average SAT scores are about 1,300, and their ACT scores are from 29 to 32, and their average GPA is a 3.6. Yeah, it's a very prestigious school. A lot of times when you're paying for this school, that you're paying for the name. It's a lot easier to get a job once you go into a school like this, and it says UMiami on your transcript. Paying for the name and the experience. Do grades matter? Yes, they matter. But people who are looking at your application are looking at you as a whole. What makes you special? What makes you stand out? What can you bring to the table? And basically, in your application, you gotta be like, I bring the whole table. And then, essentially, you are the table. You know what I'm saying? They look at thousands or hundreds of resumes a day. So you need to tailor yours to make it, to help you, to put you in a good position. For example, like you could say that you were a camp counselor and you planned and organized the events, or you could say that you were a camp counselor and you planned, coordinated, and executed activities while guiding campers in personal growth and daily living skills. It's amazing. What kind of camp counselor were you? Where's this camp? That's what you want them to think, that you need to be. There's so many ways to make your resume sound like, it sounds so much better than it is. Lastly, I want to go into, again, like, it helps if you do a lot. If you have a lower GPA, in order to compensate, having a lot of experience, internships, work experience, internships, like, in your field of interest, volunteer opportunities, if you have a talent, or if you play a sport, like, that helps so much, and it makes you stand out. For example, like, I had a 3.2 when I graduated. That's when I graduated, because I started with a 2.7, and it was chemistry. I just could not with chemistry, which is funny because I took orgo and I kind of liked it better. It's because of shapes. I don't know. I just found it a little bit more interesting. But, for example, I had a 3.2 when I graduated. But I was an RA. I was an orientation leader. I worked in EMS. I was a CNA. I was a sustainability representative. There was a whole lot of things. I did so many things, which ultimately helped me, which kept me busy during school, but ultimately helped me during my application process. And also the way I laid that out in my resume, you would have thought, like, what? But yeah, so lastly, all I have to say is, like, you can do it. Stay positive. If your GPA is lower than you want it to be right now, you can pick that up. I remember thinking, like, how am I gonna do it? Like, I kept using GPA calculators and looking at stuff like, this is impossible. Like, I'm gonna be a junior next year, but you can do it. Please stay positive and, like, yeah. But anyway, that was just a quick, like, sum up of things that can help you get into UMiami or a nursing program, or what they look for. If you have any questions, any further questions, more detailed questions, comment them down below. Thank you for watching. Have a good rest of your day.